Today we're going to make bread dumplings with cabbage and mushroom sauce. Now traditionally this is called Serviettenknödel in German. Traditionally you're going to use a Käseroll or a Semmelroll if you're Austrian to make the dumplings. But today we're going to use Laugen bread, which is also pretzels. That's how you make a pretzels from this type of bread. As you can see, my son already attacked into the pretzels, but we still have enough, so it should be good. Also, when we make the dumplings, we're going to use a tea towel, or if you have like a serviette that's cloth or something, you can use that. I would make sure it's clean, obviously, because you're going to be rolling it up in this. And I wouldn't use a brand new one unless you've washed it a couple of times, because otherwise the color in that might come out into the dumpling. So, in the dumpling, you're going to need obviously some, I would say some day-old bread, or if it's not old, if you got it fresh, I would just cut it up and leave it out to stale up a little bit. You're also going to need egg, some onion, milk, salt, pepper, and butter. I'm also going to chop up a little bit of parsley to put in there, and that's going to be for the dumplings. And then the sauce, obviously you're going to need some cabbage, some mushrooms, some cheese, garlic, an egg, and some cream. I'm also going to put some rosemary. I've got some chives here. That's going to be for a little bit of the garnish on top. Alright, so first thing you're going to do is just finely dice up your onions. And then I've just got a little bit of oil in there. And you're going to put a bit of butter in there. Then once the butter's melted down a little bit, we're going to saute off the onions. Once your butter's pretty much melted down, just press the pan a little bit more. Plop your onions in and just saute them off for a few minutes. Alright, after you've cooked them off for a couple of minutes, you're just going to put them aside in a little dish or something, whatever you got, and then wait until they cool down a little bit. Alright, I've chopped up the parsley. I took all the leaves off of the stems because I don't like to have the stems in there, because sometimes they get a bit woody and they're a little bit hard, but you don't have to be too pedantic about it. But yeah, take the bigger stems out of it. I finally chopped them up. I've got the onions, they're all nice and cooled down now. And I've also chopped the bread up into nice little cubes there. We'll have a big, sort of this big or whatever you like it. And I've got 300 grams of milk, 350 mils of milk there, sorry. So all we're going to do is put all this into the bowl. And the onions and all the parsley there. And then we're going to add the milk. Now with the milk, I wouldn't put it in all at once. I would just sort of like tip some in. What's that? There's about, that was about 100 mils left. And I'll just mix this in first. Also, I've got some salt and pepper. I'm going to add in there, mix it in. Now I can already feel that this is more than enough milk for this at this stage. So you're just going to get all that nicely mixed in there. And I just like to push it all down a little bit, so it's all a little bit more compact. And then I'm just going to get some Glad wrap and put that over there, and I'll leave that covered and let it sit for at least like 30 minutes or so, and then we'll come back. Alright, while you're waiting for your bread mixture to, soak up the milk until it's it, we're going to blanch off the cabbage. So, I've just gone ahead and chopped up the cabbage and put it into this extremely small bowl, into pieces about yay big. And we're just going to put them into boiled salted water for a couple of minutes to blanch off. Alright, after you've blanched off your cabbage for a couple of minutes, you're just going to take it out of the water slowly. Make sure you don't spill hot water or stuff all over yourself, like I just nearly did. Then you're going to run it under some cold water. Alright, so after about 30 minutes of your dumpling mixture sitting, should look a little something like this. bread's had a little chance to soak up all the milk in that. Now we're just going to add an egg. And we're going to mix that into the mixture. Alright, once it's all mixed in there, I'll just wash my hand and then we'll prepare for the next step. Alright, I've got some kitchen twine here, or kitchen string. And I've also completely wet my tea towel here. So, next thing we're going to do is get the mixture. We're going to dump it all onto the kitchen towel. Like so. And then, usually a good idea to have wet hands when you do this. So let me go wet my hands and I'll come right back. Okay, so now my hands are wet. If you have wet hands, the mixture won't stick to your hands as much. If you've got dry hands, it's going to stick all over the place. It's just much easier with wet hands. Anyway, so you're going to spread the mixture out and make a nice, or even as you can, log across the bottom here. At the moment, it's not too, don't worry about if it's not perfectly round, because we're going to roll it up and that'll get the shape. Just make sure it's like you try and get it evenly spread across the bottom here. Now it's nice and even spread. Obviously there is going to be a little bit stuck to your hands, so I'm just going to go wash my hands again and then we'll come back and we'll roll it up. Alright, now it comes time to roll it. So you're just going to flip it over and then, you know, just once you've flipped it over, you just want to tuck it back a bit, and this is where you're going to get the shape it really good. So just like that, and then once you've got a nice little log shape, you're just going to roll it up. And I didn't pull it tight enough from the bottom here. There we go. And you're going to get the ends, which I've gone a little bit too far to the ends, but it'll be alright. You're just going to roll it up, twist the ends a little bit tighter, and then you're going to tie the ends off with some just kitchen twine here. Tie it off nice and tight. Okay, I actually threw another piece of string there in the middle, but you don't have to if you don't know. I just did it for a bit more peace of mind. So as you can see, it's all nicely tied up, nice and tight on the sides, and it's a nice round shape. Now we're going to go put it in the water. Alright, so I've got the water simmering away, not boiling, but just like a nice little simmer. And then you're just going to drop the dumpling straight in the water. Push down there, make sure it's fully submerged. I'm going to let that cook there for about 30-35 minutes. Yeah. Alright, after 35 minutes, your dumpling should be ready. So it should be quite, like, you know, a bit firmer to the touch. I'm just going to get it out and put it on this rack here to drain, and yeah, we'll go on to the next step. I've just got some butter melting away in a pan here. I've also got a little bit of oil in there. I always put a little bit of oil in there with the butter to make sure the butter doesn't burn. Alright, now you're going to add in your sliced up mushrooms. Probably do it in a little bit of a batch there. And we'll just cook these up for a few minutes. Alright, after a couple of minutes, you're cooking your mushrooms down. I'm just going to add a little bit of oil to the pan. And we're going to add rosemary and garlic to that. And then I just like to cook that off before I stir it in, just for about 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and then like that, and then I'll mix it in with the rest of the mushrooms and that. Alright, after you've cooked off the garlic and the rosemary for a few minutes and that's all been mixed in, next you're going to add your cabbage. just get that all incorporated as well. Once you've got your cabbage kind of mixed in there with it, it's time to add some salt and pepper. You're just going to mix that in as well. Once you've kind of got your mushrooms and your cabbage all sorted out there, time to unwrap the knödel. It's kind of the moment of truth here to see if it actually worked out. And didn't work out actually that well. But it's going to be fine for what we need it for. So, once you get it unwrapped, you're just going to put it into slices it's about a centimetre thick. You're going to just cut them all up into slices and then we'll move on to the next step. Maybe I was a bit harsh and critiqued before. The reason why mine had that big hole in the middle is because I had to kind of bend it to put it into the pot. But that's actually turned out to be a good thing because now you have a little janged up bit that you can taste to see if it's any good. And that is pretty damn good. Alright, so after you've got it all chopped into like 1 centimetre bits there, I've greased, very well greased baking dish here with butter. And now you're gonna kind of lay the knödel or the dumplings in like a crosshatch, a little bit like that. And you're gonna go down the length of the dish there. Once you got all your dumplings laid out like that, you're gonna add your cabbage and your mushroom mix. Just sprinkle it all over kind of evenly. Next step, after you've got all your cabbage and mushroom mix, you're gonna crack an egg into a container, and you're gonna add your cream. After you've got your cream and your egg into the container there, you've mixed the egg into it. You're just gonna pour that all over into your dish there. The last step is to put cheese all over the top of it. Now, I'm using Emmentaler, but you can pretty much use whatever cheese you want. I really like the Emmentaler. I think it's going to be good for this one. I really don't think you should skimp on the cheese either. Alright, once that all's on there, you're going to put it into the oven that's been preheated to 160 degrees fan forced. And if you don't have a fan on your oven, which I don't think I've met anyone who doesn't, just put it in there at like 180 or 200 or something like that. It'll be fine. So I had the gratin in the oven for about 25 minutes. And then for the last 5 minutes, I just turned the temperature up to about 200 to get a nice little browning on top. And then I took it out and let it sit for 15 minutes, and this is what I was left with. Obviously, I put some fresh chives over the top. That one in the oven cooking. Now for the all important taste test. That is really, really good. So, if you're going to be in Vienna around the 28th of October, which is this coming Wednesday, you should call into Mark's Midday Menu, because this is going to be, well, a very similar version to this will be on the menu.